Are you saying that senior top Indian intelligence and police officials were part of a cover-up? Is
Absolutely. Absolutely. Here you have the biggest, shall we say, terrorist incident, because prima facie, that's what it looked like, in Indian history. I don't think there's another case of 4.5 tons of guns being airdropped into the remote districts of West Bengal. I was alleged in the press to be the main conspirator, but when I gave a 30-page statement giving absolutely every detail of how this was done, this was completely denied. They pretended no such statements existed.
Now, I understand that, what you're saying, but what you're saying has tremendous implications even today, 16 years after this whole arms dropping, Peter.
It had tremendous implications for me at the time. I spent 8 years in a jail and nearly died there. I was used because I was the foreign hand, as it were. It was believed both in Delhi and in London, and I'm by no means excusing elements of the British government on this, because they were in it up to their necks.
Were you working for the British government? I'm asking you again. I mean, you know it very well. You know that all of this could not have been possible. Mm-hmm. Pardon my, hasty conclusion on this one.
No, I missed the first couple of words.
My point is that, Peter, a large part of what you're saying is probably, makes sense. You can connect the dots. But the one dot I cannot connect is, how could you have been in all of this? You could have been double-crossed by the British. You could have been double-crossed by a lot of people, including Kim Davy, of course. You could have landed yourself in a situation you hadn't planned. But then my question to you is, you could not have got into the situation unless you had the blessings of the British intelligence and the British government, unless you were working for them, not in an independent capacity.
Yes, that's perfectly correct, and that's a reasonable assumption. In the defence trade is a difficult business, because there is an illegal aspect to that as well. There are people out there who will sell weapons to anybody. So you have to be careful. If you're in the legitimate arms trade, you work very, very closely with the government. Presumably, if you're American, you work closely with the American government. If you're Indian, you will work closely with the Indian government. In my case, yes, I worked very closely with the British government. I was not employed by the British government.
Yes, so that means you were working with the British government, for the British government. You were not an employee of the British government, but you were part of this arms drop as part of a well thought out operation in which the British government was involved, right?
That is absolutely correct.
What has the British government got to hide here?
I don't know, because you see, it's dangerous to speculate, but sometimes you have to speculate a little bit, otherwise you'll get no further. There's a certain amount of facts here that we know. And the key thing that we know is that there was a huge effort to cover up what happened here. I was kept in jail to cover up the facts. That's the real reason.
For 4 years, it took 4 years for your case to come up for hearing.
That's right. Yes.
Why?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's abnormal.
There was no need for it, because there was a 30-page statement that listed absolutely everything that happened. That could have been brought before a judge the next day, quite easily. And I would have stood in front of a judge if I'd have been asked, and I would have told the whole story. And if you were to ask me if I have any regrets at all in this whole business, I would tell you that I have one regret and one regret only. And that is that I have never had a chance to stand up in front of an Indian judge in an Indian court and tell that judge the whole story. That's my only regret. That's never happened, and I wish it would happen. And if I was invited to do it tomorrow, I would do
today,
absolutely.
Peter. So today, Peter, if people in the British government, the Indian government are going to respond to what you're saying you're willing to challenge them on fact, on what happened in 1995. Both these governments have required. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I am willing to stand before any Indian judge in a court and tell the story, and I'm prepared to be cross-examined by the best barrister you have, and that story will stand. I know that I did nothing wrong in this case. I was never an enemy of India. I never sought to destabilize anything. I was told, and I believe, I was part of a job to put a stop to that, not to help it to happen.
Now you're scared that if Kim Davy does get extradited to India, he might try and suck you into this whole mess once again. That's what your worry is.
No, not at all. I have no worries. I've got to stress that. I've served my 8 years in Indian jail. I've received a presidential pardon. Whether that was right or wrong is not the point. I have it. I can't be put back to jail. I have nothing to lose. I've paid my price. Whether that was, I claim that that was not justified, that doesn't matter. The fact is, that's all settled from my point of view. It doesn't matter to me whether I'm sucked in or not. My only interest is I want to see the truth brought out at long last. I think 15 years is too long to wait.